Hi students, I'm Dr. Jensen and I'm really excited to have you in my Bio 100 online class. I'm just going to take a few minutes to explain to you the structure of this course and why we teach it the way we do. So hopefully feel free to review this video as many times as you need to, but hopefully this will help you navigate this class more successfully. So I want to first start with my instructional strategy. So this class is taught using a constructivist strategy. And what that means is constructivism is a theory about how students learn. And it's based on the idea that you have things already in your head. You have preconceptions about biology and about this topic that are not easy to dislodge or manipulate. And so just lecturing at you about a topic is not very effective. And the way that I like to illustrate this is to have you write in a mirror. So if you have a second and you have like a little compact or whatever, I'd like you to try to write your name so that it appears appropriately in a mirror. So once you pause this video and see if you can write your name on a piece of paper so that it appears correctly in the mirror, like you see in this picture. Okay, so hopefully you had a chance to do that. Was it hard? I'll bet it was very difficult. And I often ask students, why is that so hard? I mean, we're intelligent people. Why can't we just write in a mirror? And then I ask, well, what if I'd shown you this first? If I'd given you a PowerPoint on how to properly write in a mirror, where vertical positions are opposite, but horizontal positions are not reversed, so your name should appear like this, would that have helped? Now, initially you might have thought, oh yeah, of course that would have helped. I doubt it. You should try it again. Now that you know this, I guarantee you will make mistakes again. And the reason is that you've already learned to write appropriately. And so when I ask you to do it in a way where the feedback that you're getting does not match what's already in your brain, it makes it much more difficult and even frustrating to learn. But by doing it and receiving that feedback that's different from what you would expect, that allows you to change the conception in your mind. Because there are people that work very effectively in mirrors, like dentists. So there is a way to reteach yourself, but it's more difficult than when you learned it the first time. So there's these two ideas of learning. It's called Equilibration Theory, where you sort of come to an understanding in your brain. And the idea is that there's two ways to learn. One is assimilation. So assimilation is when you have no previous knowledge of this, so you're incorporating new information, and it's relatively easy. And I say relatively because anything that you learn that's new is difficult, but it's relatively easy because you're not rewriting something that's already there. Whereas accommodation is when there's something already there and you're having to get feedback that goes up against something that you already thought you knew. You experience what we call cognitive conflict, and then you have to choose to accommodate what you have in your brain to get this new information in. So raise your hand if you think you have any preconceptions about biology that might need to be tweaked. I think we all do. I mean, if you've ever been outside, you've got conceptions about biology that may be not quite accurate. And so the way that we teach this class is we challenge you to think. We challenge you to consider what you already understand, and then to consider the evidence that I'm going to show you and make sure it meshes so that we can get accommodation if we actually need it. And so it might be a little frustrating at first where you think, gosh, just tell me the answers. But by telling you the answers, it's just going to go in one ear and out the other, so to speak. So that's the way that we teach the class. And we actually use a method called the 5E learning cycle. All right, so this is basic course structure. Okay, so the learning cycle has 5 steps. You engage the student in whatever you're going to talk about. Then you have students explore the topics. So that's a way for us to draw out those preconceptions that you might have to help you draw them out so that you can see where you're right and where you might need to tweak things. And then we'll do some explaining. So we'll make sure everybody gets on the same page. And then it's important to elaborate. And that's because we found in educational research that knowledge is often very contextualized. So, for instance, if you learned about genetics, but you learned about it with a fruit fly, then in your mind, genetics is only connected to fruit flies, but it doesn't work for dogs, cats, humans, and that's obviously wrong. And so it's important to take what you learned in that given situation with the example that we use to teach it and take it into new situations to elaborate upon it so that it's decontextualized. And then the last step, obviously, is evaluation, because what is education without testing? But there's actually a lot of benefit to testing, to pulling things out of your memory. It's called the testing effect, well known and well established that this helps in solidifying that information for you. So we can kind of divide those into two main portions of learning. One is content attainment, where you're exploring and building and creating these concepts. And then the second is concept application, where you're decontextualizing it and making sure it's broadly applicable in your roundhouse. And so we are doing this through several different ways. So your engage, explore, and explain will happen during a lecture video. Now you might be thinking, wait, it's a lecture. Yes, it's a lecture, but it's very constructivist in the way that they teach it. We'll give you a scenario, we'll walk you through it, we'll have you think about it, and then explain the information. So the lecture videos are almost entirely done by two of my great colleagues, Dr. Heath Ogden and Dr. Emily Holt. And so you'll see them in the lecture videos and not me, but we worked on the curriculum together, so it's all a joint effort. So you'll watch a little lecture video, and then right after that, there will be a little quiz that'll pop up that'll say, did you watch the video? We have no way of recording video watching. Is that a word? Anyway, and so we're going to ask you just to be honest and click, yes, we watched the video. But then you're going to take a video quiz. This is just a real basic quiz to make sure you gleaned from the video what you should have. And what we want you to do is we actually want you to get 100%, but we want you to take that first attempt of the video, of the quiz, closed book, closed note, don't look at anything, just give it a try and see how well you gain the information. And then once you've taken it once, then you can go back and rewatch the video, you can look things up on Google, whatever you need to do, you can take it as many times as you want until you get 100%. But that first time through, I'd strongly encourage you to test yourself and see how much you're getting out of the video. Once you've done the content attainment, then there will be a second part to the learning, and this is your homework assignment. So the homework assignment is where you're going to elaborate and take it into different arenas so we can decontextualize the information. These are rather challenging, but we have created these really helpful tutorials to help you navigate your way through these. And so you'll answer some questions, you'll try it on your own, and then a little tutorial will pop up and you can watch, and that's where you'll see me and two of my great students, Josh and Clara, which I'll introduce to you in just a moment, who have created tutorials for you. And you'll go through the homework assignment gradually. It'll have you answer the question again once you understand the concept, and you'll get through that. Now, anything you don't understand, please feel free to go see a TA if you need any help. The TAs will hold virtual office hours, so if you're not on campus, we'll hold regular office hours. If you are on campus, you can come to my office hours and get help on the homework. Now, just a little hint, the exams are very much like the homework assignments. They are application-based, applying the material outside what you learned it in class. So I would strongly encourage you to make sure you have a solid understanding of that homework assignment. And then, of course, your evaluation happens in the video quiz and then again in the assessments that we'll talk about in a minute. But before we do that, I want to just introduce you to a few of the faces you're going to see in this class. This was a team effort in creating this class, so you're going to see a lot of faces, and I wanted you to know who they were. So the first is Dr. Heath Ogden. So he's a professor at Utah Valley University, and he was an integral part of creating this class, and he was much better at using the software and has a face for camera, so he did most of the lecture videos that you'll see. Dr. Emily Holt is also on some of the lecture videos, and she's from the University of Northern Colorado. We've been friends for a long time, and we created this class together. The other people you're going to see are Josh Payne and Clara Smith. So they are on a few of the tutorials in the homework assignments. They are two students who were undergraduates of mine who worked tirelessly to create this class. So if you hear their voices, that's who you're hearing. I just wanted to put a face to their voice. Okay, so let's go through this class. This is how it's going to work. I've set it up like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday class. So we call them days. And so there's typically 3 days that you would complete each week. So you're going to watch the lecture video, take the little I watched the video quiz, then take the actual quiz, complete the homework assignment with the interactive tutorials, go see a TA if you need help. You'll do that for day 1, day 2, day 3, kind of like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday. They're all due by Saturday night at 11:59 p.m. And then you'll do it again for week 2, due at 11:59 p.m. Most units are about 2 weeks long. Sometimes they're shorter, so pay attention to the calendar. But at the end of the unit, there will be a unit exam. The unit exams are taken on Canvas. They are open book, open note, but not open internet and open neighbor. And they are timed to 1 hour. And those will be taken online. You'll see them in your course feed. So, nice thing about exams, let's say you go and you take the unit exam and you get an 88%. You're like, wow, not bad, but it wasn't as good as I wanted. Excuse me. You simply have to go see a TA or myself for a review. We have them all available via Zoom or in person. And if you review the test, you get 1 full question back. And since most exams are less than 100 questions, that gives you more percentage back. Here is the schedule. It's available on Canvas. I'll show you where in bigger format so you can see when everything is due, and we'll talk about that in a minute. All right, so this is the weight of the class. So basically this is the entire class. There are a few research surveys I will give you just to track the progress of this class. And then, like I said, you'll do the lecture video, you'll do the homework assignments, you'll take unit exams, and there's a final exam at the end. They are weighted accordingly. So you can see that 5% are research surveys, 10% for watching the lecture videos, 15% for the quiz, 25% for the homework, 25% for unit exams, 20% for the final exam. I have built in a Life Happens cushion. So I've allowed you to drop several of the assignments. So you can drop at least one, or you can drop 1 research survey. You can drop 5 lecture, video, homework assignment, etc. So the 5 days out of the semester, if you just don't feel like doing it or something comes up and you can't do the activities, 5 get dropped for free. And your lowest unit exam score gets dropped. So please read my FAQs to learn more about this, but the idea is that this is given to you as a cushion for when life happens. You don't even have to contact me. If something came up, it's okay. Just drop those. So you can see that the class is really, the majority is participation, 55% for just going through the activities and doing what you're supposed to do, and then the other 45% is assessment. Okay, now I want to just give you a brief overview of Canvas. Our course is found under byu.instructure.com. You should be able to log in with your net ID, and it will bring up this course. Okay, I know it says section 25, but we have 3 sections that are merged together, so don't worry about that. It will be the only one that shows up. So first thing I would encourage you to do is go through the syllabus. This will give you information about the course, the grading scale, the course procedures that we just walked through in the earlier part of this video, but you can read through it if you'd like, study habits, and then BYU policies. Okay, the modules is the same thing as the home page, so just keep clicking on, keep clicking on home, or you can click on modules. Either way, it'll take you to the same place, and then you can look at your grades. So in the course, this is course information. I would pay special attention to everything right here. So your expected learning outcomes, if you click on this, and hopefully it comes up very quickly, this has the learning objectives that you have to be able to do after every single day of class. So if you're ever wondering, what should I study for the test? This is it. And please, please, please pay attention to the verb. So for instance, let me go to day 10 on human evolution. No, let's go to a better one that has more. Let's go to day 16 on speciation. And it says to use evidence to distinguish species. So don't just think to yourself, oh, I should know what a species is. That's not what that says. That says to use evidence to distinguish them. And then maybe right here it says predict evidence that would support or not support separate species. So pay attention to predict, right? Apply species concepts to human race, etc. So make sure you're paying attention to the noun. It's not just a list of vocabulary that you need to know. So that's your learning objectives. I'm going to click on home again. Your TA bios and office hours, if you click on here, this will show you, and we haven't gotten it totally updated yet, but it will show you all your TAs and when you can contact them. We will also have at the top of here, as soon as we get it all figured out, the weekly reviews. So every TA in the class is going to hold a weekly review, and I am also going to hold a weekly review. You're welcome to attend any of them that you want to, and they will mostly be virtual, but I think some might be in person. It's so hard to know with COVID. But you can go to a weekly review and just review the learning outcomes, get help on the homework, anything you're struggling with for that week. The other thing that they will hold is weekly exam reviews. So if you want to go back in and get points back on an exam, they will have those scheduled, and there will be lots of them to choose from. And then lastly, they'll have office hours, and I will have office hours. So if you need to meet individually about anything, feel free. So that's all in the TA bios and office hours tab. The schedule here is that schedule that I showed you briefly that tells you when everything is due. I strongly recommend that you download that and get that on your calendar so you don't miss anything. The video lectures are all accessible on YouTube on our channel, so if you ever want to go back and watch one, you can use the class. It's right there and it won't disappear, but for whatever reason, if you want to access it on YouTube, there it is. These are my virtual office hours, so this is the Zoom link to access me. I have my regular office hours Wednesdays 2 to 4. You may have to wait if there are other students there, but I will hopefully be able to get to you. You can also stop by my office. I am there. If you are looking for a textbook, it's not required, but we have a low-cost ebook, so it's pretty cheap and it follows the course pretty closely. And then I will have a list of textbook readings for you. I just have not put that up there yet. And then each module, so you can see this introductory module, I need you to complete this first before you can access any of the rest of the class. So it's really just this video that you're watching right now. How to study, so my little tips on studying, and then this one's optional, but if you're really struggling with studying, you should watch this. And then you take a little quiz to make sure you listened during it and you know what the class is about. These are our 2 assessments that we need for research purposes. We always just track the success of these classes, and so we keep track of that using these surveys. So please complete those. I actually don't know if that's the right date. I will change that if it isn't. And then each of these modules are going to open up. So you don't have access to this until you complete that pre-module. But you will watch the video here. You will say that you watched the video here. You will take the quiz here. You will complete the homework here. And it's that easy for every single day. It looks the same. And then when you get to a unit exam, there's a practice exam. If you'd like to take it, you can take it as many times as you want and just see how you do. And that's optional. And then you'll take the exam. Like I said, they're timed for 1 hour. And they're multiple choice, and we're still working on the exams, so this is not up to date yet. And then you go to the next unit, etc., all the way down to the final exam. That's all there is to it. It's a pretty easy format. I would not pay attention so much to this to-do list because sometimes the dates that we put them into the gradebook don't always match the dates they're actually due. I would follow the modules down like this, and they'll open and close when they're supposed to. All right, so that's pretty much it for Canvas. And that's it for the course. I am really excited to have you in this class. I know it's going to be sort of a crazy semester having it all online with COVID, but I've tried to do my very best to make this the most interactive that we can be while still being online. I chose asynchronous because I just feel like by 100, I know you don't want to be here, and it's a GE class, but I'm really excited to have you, and so I wanted to make it as flexible as possible. I hope I've done that. We have tons of TAs that are here to help you. They are so excited to meet you. We all want to be able to have contact with each of you in some way. And so please reach out, use the resources. We're excited to have you. I hope it's a great semester. Thanks.